Hey, what's up everybody? This is your nutritionist on the go, KANWALDEEP AUJLA from Erudite Nutrition. Now, before starting this video, I want to give you guys a heads up. See, this video is about diabetes, and diabetes is such a topic that we cannot cover it in one single video. So this whole topic will be covered in a series of videos, maybe 4 or 5 different videos. So I want you guys to stay attentive, and if you started watching this series, do watch it till the end. We will try to complete this whole topic within this month. All right guys, so if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do it on YouTube as well as on Facebook and Instagram. Do follow my channel Erudite Nutrition so that you do not miss any updates. So now let's start with diabetes. It is one of the most common metabolic disorders, and especially in India, a majority of people are suffering. It is an epidemic disease, and it is one of the worst disease and metabolic syndrome, and it is a killer. Many people die every year due to the complications of diabetes, because it can lead you to heart diseases, it can lead you to brain diseases, it can also lead you to kidney failures. So it is one of the most deteriorating disease, and actually there are pretty much simple ways to protect yourself from this disease. But before we talk about the disease, let's understand what diabetes is and how does the whole process work. Okay, what happens in any normal person is when we eat food, especially the food containing carbohydrates, it is broken down to release energy. Okay, it is converted into sugars by our digestive system. Those sugars are then put up in our blood system. Okay, then our cells actually need that glucose. Many of our organs are actually primarily using glucose as a source of energy. For example, our brain, it always needs a constant supply of glucose. Okay, so when we get this glucose into our bloodstream, the cells need to get this glucose. So there is a medium which will actually transport the glucose from the blood to each and every cell of our body, and that medium is the hormone called insulin. Yes, the insulin hormone is produced by our pancreas. The basic function of insulin is to grab the glucose from the blood and take it to the cells, where the insulin will be used as a key of a lock just to open the cell and allow the glucose molecule to enter the cell for further processing, to be either used up as energy, directly converted into energy, or converted into fats and stored as a reserve energy. Okay, so insulin here is the key factor. It is the key to open the lock, the door of the cells, so that glucose can be used. Now review the whole process once again. We eat carbohydrates, they have been converted into energy, into glucose, and that glucose comes into our blood. The insulin hormone comes, grabs the glucose molecule and takes it to the cell to be used now or later. Now coming to the diabetes, what happens in diabetes is there are two types of diabetes, basically type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. In type 2 diabetes, we'll talk first. In type 2 diabetes, what happens is our body becomes resistant to insulin. That means there is insulin present in our body, but our cells do not respond to that insulin. So as we've already discussed, the function of insulin is to open the cells so that glucose can enter into the cell. But when our cells become insulin resistant, that insulin is of no use. So the glucose starts accumulating into our blood. So the normal level of blood glucose is 100 to 120, or the guidelines can vary accordingly, 100 to 120 mg per dl. But when our cells do not accept glucose, it gets concentrated in our blood and our blood sugar level rises. That is a toxic state for our body. Our increased blood sugar level can damage our nerve cells, our brain cells, it can damage the blood vessels, and it will have a damaging effect on our heart, on our kidneys, and on our eyes, and almost every organ of our body. So it is very important that insulin takes that glucose into the cell, and which can be used as energy or converted into fats. Now in type 2 diabetes, that insulin is not working, or the cells are not being responsive to that insulin. So we can say it in other words, we can say it in layman words, there is the quantity of insulin present, but the quality is not there, and that creates all sorts of problem. The glucose accumulation in blood will lead to many other diseases. So this was about type 2 diabetes. Now what happens in type 1 diabetes? Due to a number of factors, mostly hereditary, genetical, or age-related factors, our pancreas, which create the hormone insulin, they exhaust and they shut down. So once your pancreas actually shut down, no more insulin is being produced in your body. Okay, so when there is no insulin, there is no medium, there is no mediator for the glucose present in your blood to be taken into the cells, because insulin was the medium and that is no more present. In that case, we need to get insulin injections from the outside source so that our body can actually process the sugar that is available in our blood. So this was for now, guys. This was just the basic introduction to the diabetes disease. Now we've talked about both type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and we've talked about hormone insulin and what a normal metabolic process of a human body is. Next video, we are going to talk about different food groups and how should we choose our food groups, and how we have to complete our nutritional requirement by not taking those foods which actually harm our blood sugar levels. So guys, I request you all again, stay tuned and like my channel and follow me on Facebook and Instagram so that you do not miss any update. I'll see you guys next time. You take care.